The big tank of the Cappuccini's garden, optional. These interesting remains of the old Cagliari is found beyond Stampaci district and is connected to the structures of the Roman amphitheater. To reach it, you must cover the whole route of Corso Vittorio Emanuele II up to the crossroads with Viale Luigi Merello. Go uphill for a few hundred meters along this picturesque tree-lined avenue, flanked with remarkable small villas in the Art Nouveau style, built between the end of the 19th and the beginning of the 20th century, until you reach Vico e Merello on the right side. At the end of this alley, you find an area called Cappuccini's Garden, since in the past, the community of the Capuchin friars that lived in the above monastery used this garden to cultivate alimentary and officinal plants. In this area, there is an imposing artificial hollow from the Roman Careles. Originally, this was a latomia, that is, a quarry for the extraction of stone blocks, probably used for the construction of the nearby Roman amphitheater in the 2nd century BC. This wide hollow was afterwards used for the conservation of water, together with some other small tanks in the same area. Its huge capacity is approximately 1 million liters, and its use was probably thanks to a coating with waterproofing plaster, the so-called cociopesto, some patches of which are still on its walls. This hollow was connected to the Roman amphitheater that is located on the opposite side of the existing rocky ridge, through a more than 90-meter-long underground passage. Some big rings found along the walls for the chain fixing testify the use of this hollow also as a prison. A Christian graffito was recently found at level of one of these big rings. It dates back to the 4th century BC and could represent, in a stylized form, the boat of the church. Its anonymous author could thus have been a Christian martyr that was put there in chains before being taken to the arena of the amphitheater to participate in a bloody show. A guide leads a visit of the Cappuccini's garden, which lasts about 30 minutes. The Roman amphitheater. If you chose the short itinerary, you have to follow the external walls that delimit the botanical garden and go up the tree-lined Viale Sant'Ignazio. If you chose the complete itinerary, on the contrary, after the visit of the big tank of the Cappuccini's garden, you have to go back along Viale Merello until you reach Via San Giovanni Bosco. Once you have covered it, you will arrive at the crossroads with Via Sant'Ignazio and will have to turn left, covering this avenue uphill. The entrance of the monumental Roman amphitheater, with its ticket office, is found on the right side of the upper part of this avenue, right near the bronze statue dedicated to the saint, giving this avenue its name. Right in front of it, you can see the historic monastic complex of Capuchin friars, founded in 1591, and the very popular church dedicated to Saint Ignatius of Laconi. The amphitheater was built around the 2nd century BC, when the city of Careles probably reached its greatest expansion and welfare. This is the most imposing building for shows ever realized in Sardinia, and still represents the most important vestiges of the Roman Cagliari. It was realized, partially built and partially dug, along the slope of Buon Camino Hill in the southeast direction, thus adapting 2 steep calcareous walls crossed by a drill or vallicula that can still be observed and which represents the upper part of Palabanda Valley. This mixed typology was actually extremely rare in the Roman world. The result of these remarkable building works was an imposing building for shows. The cavea with the terrace steps was 88 by 72 meters wide, while the elliptical arena was 47 by 31 meters wide. Its maximum capacity was about 10,000 people, that is around 1/3 of the estimated city population in that period. Its northern, and especially its southern sides, completely disappeared. They probably were the built parts of the construction, and were progressively pulled down since the terrace steps of the monument represented for centuries, until the mid-19th, a real quarry of building material for the construction of the modern city. In the surviving portions, some vomitoria are still found and can be visited. These are the passages to reach the cavea, vertically divided into 3 parts. Sideways, at level of the arena and below it, there are some duty spaces as well as galleries, tanks, and water main that form a complex adduction system. These dug works, in fact, deeply advance westwards in the rocky ridge up to the big tank of the Cappuccini's garden. Some other spurs, on the contrary, develop southwards up to the area of the present botanical garden. During the last decade, an important restructuring intervention was carried out in this monument, and the result is the realization of some wooden tiers that integrate the remaining old structures and restore a semicircular shape with a partial reference to the original amphitheater. This intervention caused and continues to cause some heated debates, since according to some opinions it hides and modifies this archaeological monument. In any case, the original function of this historical building was indisputably restored, since this monument hosts again some open-air shows. During the summer, in fact, internationally popular concerts and artistic events are organized. In the Roman age, on the contrary, this was the stage for the typical fights among gladiators, called ludi or munera, but also for hunting shows, especially with exotic animals imported from the African inland, theater performance, and public